I am a warrior. I walk with the gods. I am a warrior. I will never stop. Yeah! Sometimes I feel like I'm falling so fast from the sky, from the weight of my life. Sometimes I feel like I'm hunted. Attack me with knives, cut me up in the night. I am a warrior.
All right, guys, welcome to the Battle Warrior podcast. We have Sam and Gina on the other line here, and we're going to be talking about two special superpowers in this journey of becoming a warrior. So go ahead, guys.
Yep. Hi, I'm Sam. I'm just recently graduated high school. I run my podcast called Autism Rocks and Rolls. It's about autism and how we cope with daily struggles that you may or may not understand. My goal is to take the next stigma off of autism to show that I am not broken. I do not need to be fixed. I have over 6,000 downloads and over 270 followers. And some of my hobbies are creating writing and enjoying the great outdoors. But my business means a lot to me because I can show people that as I produce my own, as you said, superpower.
Yep. I'm Mom. I'm Gina. I agree with everything Sam just said. We actually have a nonprofit, Autism Rocks and Rolls, and it's that's the mission. That's the mission. It started with the podcast, and now it's turned into him doing other things and us having a nonprofit. But that is the mission. That is the mission of the nonprofit and his business, is to take the negative stigma off of autism and just to show people that people on this spectrum and people that love them don't want to fix them because there's nothing to fix. And so that's our goal, is to help further that solution in this world.
And this brought up my old tagline, and I'm going to take both of my taglines. Last year, my mission, my tagline was Dare to be Different. Mm-hmm. And this year is I'm not a stat, which means I'm not a statistic, which means go fly by your own self. And guys, we're on audio here, but she had something special on her wrist that she showed me earlier. So you want to explain that?
Yeah. So I'm not young anymore. I'm, a middle-aged woman. I'm 45 years old.
Yeah. Well, before we mention, I just want to give a little background. I also have sponsors as well for the podcast. Yeah. One of our biggest sponsors did this, and he's awesome. His name is Peanut, and he owns a tattoo parlor shop. That's probably my biggest surprise sponsor, my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, we went in, and Peanut actually, because we're out of Indiana, and Peanut did my tattoos, but I just decided that I wanted them, and I'm at the point in my life where I'm 45 years old. If I want to go get tattoos, then I'm allowed to do that. So I wanted them to be really, really special, and I wanted them to be sentimental. So I got two, actually. The one on my arm says "Be You," because that is really the whole mission of Sam. One of the missions of his podcast is for everybody to embrace who they are and don't try to be someone else. Just be who you are. And then I have the Chinese symbol strength, and then I have Sam's initials, so he's always with me on my arm. And then on my leg I have a flower with autism colors and pride colors, because I feel like that the LGBTQ community goes with that as well. Be you, love yourself. Everybody should embrace everybody. But my favorite song is Free Fallin' by Tom Petty. So my dad designed the tattoo, and I have music notes. The first line of Free Fallin' is falling from the flower. And then there's music. I'm drawing a blank.
Music notes.
There was 3 parts to it. Oh, and the stem says include, because whenever Sam was in elementary, middle school, high school, he felt pretty excluded because that's really what society does, is doesn't really give people a chance. If they're weird, quirky, then there's not room in society for those people. And that's a huge thing, is everybody should be included. So that's the long story of my tattoos, because they mean a lot to me.
Yeah, and the king of the show is actually on the left-hand side here. I'm gonna let him keep talking. What is going on, man?
Not much. I had some food. I had meat and cheese, so that was nice.
Me and cheese.
I think it was like cheddar and a turkey.
Why didn't you tell them all about your business?
I'm trying to think of what else I'd say though.
No, I'm laughing because I'm in Wisconsin and I'm like, that's 100% Midwestern. I know you guys are probably a little bit south in the Indiana because you're picking up a little bit of the southern portion of the state. And I'm like, that boy, yeah. Welcome to the West.
That's not my favorite food. It's buffalo wings, buddy. That's the best food for me.
Oh man. So and I'm gonna tap in both sides of it, and I want him to include it on this because
absolutely.
I'm 35. I'm about 10 years younger than you, and when I was in 5th grade, we called it that. There's 2 different ways our school system, and we're talking about public, guys. This is my experience with public, and you are a teacher, right? Okay.
I'm a teacher. I'm going in my 17th year in a public school system, but I know the faults.
Yeah,
it's okay.
So when I was in 5th grade, they released it's called the ALPS program. So like they separated out the smart kids. The kids that were 3.0 and above or whatever, they pushed them in a different class. They left us, and I'm a air quote normal kids in a class. And then they took the ones like all the, I don't want to use the term disabilities or whatever, but like, and then they put them in a different section. So like from 5th grade to senior year of high school, all those 3 stayed separate. And then you'd have kids like me who would have ADHD, and they'd be sitting there going, why is he not calming down? Why is he not doing this? Why is he not doing that? My mom actually had multiple phone calls saying, why ain't he on Ritalin? So from your experience, and I'm going to use it on my side of it. So I'm fully wired ADHD, like fully wired. I'm calmed down right now because I have coffee, which calms me down. I just came back from 1.5-hour workout, and
she came back from weaning, so she gets it.
Yeah. And I'm actually medicated for it right now. So like and like I said, though, I've learned to grow into my ADHD, and I don't even want to word it that way, just my superpower. Mm-hmm. How different is it now versus then? Because I've been out of school for almost 15, 18 years.
Mm-hmm. From a teacher standpoint, it's still the same to a point. Academically, public schools are much more inclusive, to where, especially I teach middle school, I teach 8th grade. So, I don't have a whole lot of knowledge with like elementary, but my focus is middle school and high school. And I do language arts and social studies. So from my experience, it is more inclusive. But I will say that, working in a middle school, I have 5 classes during the day. I have an honors class. I have 3 middle of the road classes, and then I have an inclusion class. So it is still divided like that. On what you're saying on one side is, yes, I feel like there's lots of opportunities missed, because you could combine all of these kids. And there could be, magic happen with their thinking processes. And I completely understand that. And I think that's a wonderful thing. However,
but I think the inclusion kids need the help.
That's what I was going to say. I have a teaching certificate in gifted and talented education. And I've also worked with inclusion kids from the very low end of the spectrum, as far as learning disability, all the way to, high ability, and twice exceptional, somebody who's high ability, but they have autism or a learning or whatever. I mean, I've seen all of it. And I'm going to be really truthful with you from an educator's perspective. Very, very rarely does an inclusion kid and a kid that is good at school, and even high, like that's even different than a high ability kid. Most high ability kids make D's and F's because they're really bored. Yeah. So that they're even like in a different category of thinking. But an inclusion kid and a high ability kid, they don't want to work together. and they don't work together very well because the inclusion kid is really, really like nervous to work with them. And then the high ability kid doesn't like know what to do. So although I guess what I'm saying is, although it's a beautiful thing when it all comes together, I do feel like from an educator's perspective, there is some strategy in putting like learners together so that they are comfortable and they can, you know, they can kind of learn their way. I think what needs to happen, in my opinion, what needs to happen is the labeling needs to stop. Because
it used to be a class.
It's a class.
It's not inclusion class. It's not middle of the road class. It's not honor students. It's students in a class.
Exactly. And that is what I do. My kids will, I've heard kids over the years say, oh, I'm in the stupid class. I'm in the dumb class. And of course they're not. Like, in my view, they're in a class where they're going to be successful. And so I guess what I'm saying is the fact that it's kind of divided is actually helpful, but on the flip side of that, so that's modeling. But I love it when people of all abilities come together and work. It's a beautiful thing.
Can you pause for 2 seconds? My computer's on 7%. I'm gonna keep this going here though. But I also know my brain processes so fast that I could be like, boom, 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 squirrel, and then completely go back with the ADHD side. But
yeah, depending on the subject, if it's WWE wrestling, it depends on the subject. If it's WWE wrestling, it's boom, 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 boom. But if it's something like math or algebra, it's going to be a boom.
Oh, yeah, you are like, me and you are very similar when it comes to that stuff. So it's something that excites you, that gives you, that builds the feeling up. You're all, I don't want to say all in, but you're like 100%.
Yeah, that and English too. I'm pretty boom, 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 boom. Except when it comes to those stupid comments, like we said earlier.
The comments.
The comments are stupid. I'm sorry.
And we're doing this pre-recording. Me and him are laughing at this because I have the same situation. I love my family to death, but there's a lot of grammar polices in them. So, and I will tell them that publicly. So guys, yes, I just called you out, senior grammar polices.
Oh, don't worry.
You live with one, right?
I live with an English teacher. So,
and the only reason why I bring it out is like how I write it how I speak. So it's like, you know, I'm not I don't want to say like a book versus street, but that's how I'm going to break it down, just because it's a whole different language. So like you take someone that, you know, was on the street hanging around with people, business owners, whatever. It's like you have a vocab for each different level.
You're a breed learner.
A what?
A breed learner.
What's that?
Book and street smart. Book and street smart.
Breed. Sam likes to combine words a lot.
I do.
That's a
breed.
Breed.
Yes.
Smart.
Yeah. So it's heavy.
Or sook.
Well, it's heavy common sense, like heavy common sense. But you can give me stuff. Obviously, I've read like 40, 50 books in my life. But like I said, I'm dyslexia. The only thing I remember in the books that I've read is there was a swearing part in Jurassic Park back in high school I read that I just remember. I'm like, wow, this is my first book with swearing in it. I remember that part, and it actually had black tape on the top. And then the other one is Robert Kiyosaki, Cash Flow Quadrant, or Rich Dad Poor Dad, that book. But the quadrant I remember because it's a repeated thing. So like for me to remember it, I have to repeat it 100 times. So like 10 times, 10 times, 10 times, 10 times, 10 times. And the more you just flash it in front of me, if I love it, I'm going to remember it in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But like you, if it's mine is not math. It's just like, and I love my friends to death. It's the engineering stuff. It's the fine details. It's where a friend, you know, very good, close friend of mine that I'm hanging around with, very, very book smart, like all the way to doctor. Like she's going to blow through that and just do it naturally. She's very, very book smart. And, you know, same thing with my sister, but not to say situation, what I've learned is there's some that are at, and I'm going to use the spectrum of that, but like some are super book smart and they're learning the feeling. And then there's some like me where there's a lot of feeling, there's book smart, but you're kind of finding a happy medium in the middle.
Yep, you're the breed.
Yeah, but even, and book smart and street smart. There's all kinds of different smarts. And there's this huge misconception, I think, that people that are book smart are like the smartest. That is not true. These people, like I've seen kids that get, like I said, C's, D's, F's in school, and they go on to be an electrician.
Oh, look at your husband.
Yeah, my husband is an electrician. He spent very little time in the classroom. All of his training to be an electrician was on the job. And we need people like that. Like if everybody were book smart and went to a 4-year college, we wouldn't have plumbers. We wouldn't have people that are waitresses and waiters and musicians. And it takes
construction workers.
Yeah. Or laborers, or, so the learning styles are just different. And there's no right or wrong way, I don't think.
Well, and I'm going to bring this up, and some of my outer circle understands it, but like two of my best friends, they're very, very like phenomenally smart. Mm-hmm. They never went, maybe I think one got a certificate in school, but they both own a roofing company, and they're both doing like really, really well, really like 6-digit well. And I explained to him, I said, what it is. He's like, we know how to work. We know construction. And he's like, we do it. And I'm going to swear here for 2 seconds because we can, but he's like, we do it very damn well. Mm-hmm. And he goes, we're very, very good. And it's my learning style. It's like, I tell everyone straight out, I said, and it's probably, I don't know if it's going to resemble you, Sam, a little bit, but like, I want to go make a mess and figure out where my mess is and back myself up, refix, and go forward through that mess again.
Is it? I don't know.
That's something.
If it's editing, maybe I could see editing doing like that, because I'm gonna make my mistakes when I edit my podcast, and I'm gonna fix them, make it sound more professional. Yeah. So I guess maybe that's a good question.
Maybe a little bit. I mean, with the jobs in this country too, like college does not necessarily equal success, because I have almost 10 years of college, and I'm a teacher, and I don't make very good money based on the hours that I work during the school year. And then a plumber or even a manager at McDonald's makes more than I do. And it's just, and I feel like I'm successful in the teaching field, but college doesn't.
Yeah. Oh, it's stupid that you don't get paid.
College doesn't equal money, I guess, or, success, but go ahead.
Well, and the other thing, and like I said, we're talking about education here, but the work ethics are a little bit different at times. And it's
sure.
Just, I think it's just how you got raised up and stuff. So, I have my moments where I love my 40 hours, and then there's moments where I have my 80 hours, but I understand that I have to maintain and I have to be busy. So like for me, maturing into my style, and that's the key thing I want to tell everyone straight out: learn what you're very good at and keep pushing forward at it, and just keep spinning that cycle. And you just kind of blend into like your own little independent world that people don't like that, because I don't say people don't like that, but it's very tough sometimes to approach people that way, because they look at you and they're going to say, yeah, you're different. You're not normal. And I'm going on the negative side of it here, but you're different. You're normal or not normal. And they're almost uncomfortable being around you because you're pushing yourself. You're trying different. You're always busy. You're doing whatever it is to accelerate your brain.
Yeah. There's no normal. I don't think that's fair. I mean, for anybody to say, oh, wait a minute, that's not normal. And nobody gets to choose that. Yeah. And if somebody thinks I get to choose what's normal, that's arrogant. That isn't, I think, normal and weird. Sometimes I meet people, and Sam and I have talked about this. Sometimes I meet people and think, oh my God, I hope they're as weird as I am. Please be as weird as I am, because I am, and I don't care. And Sam has grown up in a house where we are ourselves, and he embraces himself. He's wonderful.
We got a feeling about running through fireworks. That just shows you how crazy we are.
Oh, Uncle Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, my family's crazy. Let's just not get into that story.
Aww.
No, it's different.
We'll leave those stories for a different podcast, because me and you can go down that route. We'll just leave it at that way. We'll just keep those quiet. But Sam, where can everyone, we're going to wrap this up here. Where can everyone find your podcast? But first, I want you to plug all your sponsors.
All right. Let's plug in the sponsors. So we'll thank Wellspring Paint Solutions, Little Blues Tattoos, Blue Boy. It's all got the word blue in it, which is hilarious to me. Chocolate Shop. Blue Boy Chocolate Shop is what it's originally called. What else we got?
The Barn on Maryland Ridge.
Barn on Maryland Ridge. Yep. Perfection Auto Glass. Life Paths Counseling with Heather Hudson. And Commercial Service. And Donnie Bell's Built Automotive. And Salon 45. Whew.
Pals.
And Pals, People Animal Learning Services, which is a cool place. If you're ever in Indy, check it out.
Yeah.
Bloomington.
In Indiana. We're near Bloomington, where the university is. 2 hours south of Indianapolis. And there's we partnered with it's a People and Animal Learning Services, and it's an equine therapy barn, and it's really, really cool. So they're sponsoring us. So yeah.
Let's just say after riding a horse, your thighs about to explode.
I don't experience that one, but my thighs hurt after the gym at times. So doing different things.
Yeah. No, that's right below the thighs of
you were
private genitals.
You were,
I guess.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how to describe it.
Okay, no, that's what you described just fine.
Okay. I hope I did.
Yeah, there's no spring there.
Yeah.
And I'm a half farm boy, so I totally know what you're getting at on the saddle. So, but no, first of all, let's just rename your podcast and then where we can find it.
Sure. So it's called Autism Rocks and Rolls. You can find me on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Listen Notes, Pandora, YouTube, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, LinkedIn, and Stitcher.
And then your website.
And then my website, which is www.autismrocksandrolls.com.
Yeah, that's the hub of everything. That's a great place to go.
All right, guys, go visit the website. Go visit Spotify, iTunes, the whole list of where all your I should even understand this podcast. Guys, go visit all the podcast providers and get the downloads today.
Yes.
Thank you guys very much. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
No problem. And it is 5:17 my time, and I have a gut feeling it's 6:17 your time.
It is.
All right. You guys have a great night.
You too.
Yep. See ya.
Bye.